What does VO2 max stand for?
So VO2 max, we're talking about the volume, which is the V part, and O2 oxygen. It's going to be the maximum amount of oxygen one person can uptake within their muscles per minute. So basically at any given workload, we sort of have a capacity to absorb oxygen, and based off several factors, which we'll dive into, can determine how well one can perform. We measure VO2 max in two ways. One is an absolute measure, one is a relative measure, and relative being relative to an athlete's weight, height, and age. Absolute measures are going to be basically just how many liters of oxygen we can uptake per minute.
Okay, so run me through an absolute test. Let's paint a picture. Sorry to use a cheesy gathering of words, ladies and gentlemen, but let's paint a picture of an absolute VO2 max test. I'm the client, I'm the athlete.
Yeah.
What do I do?
So before a test, we'd have a bit of a discussion of their history, exercise history, medical history. Once that's all okay, blood pressure's looking good, heart rate as well, we then get the athlete to strap up within a face mask. We've got a cool little setup in Quarry Bay, a nice little sports lab as I call it, and athletes are strapped up in with that face mask, and that basically just measures the amount of oxygen one person is consuming, and depending on the athlete, whether they're a runner or a cyclist or even a rower, their choice of modality, so whether they can go on a treadmill, we've also got a Monarch over there, so it's like a little stationary bike, and we just run them through a graded exercise test. Usually it comes in stages. We have about 3 minutes per stage just to allow the person to adjust to the workload, and we just slowly ramp up the intensity up until they can't go anymore.
Every 3 minutes, is that correct?
3 minutes. With cyclists though, we tend to go 5 minutes just because they take a little bit longer to adjust, because their work capacity is huge, it's massive. Yeah. I mean, we're talking some of the top athletes with the highest VO2 max. The majority of them are going to be cyclists or cross-country skiers, I guess. But it's about 3 minutes for you to reach steady state in terms of a given workload. Yeah. And then once you've hit past a certain level, usually about 85% of your heart rate max, that's when you tend to start, put the pedal to the metal sort of thing. It's when that sort of lactic acid feeling comes, and eventually an athlete's going to hit their wall, and that's when we achieve a true VO2 max, is when you just cannot go anymore.
So literally, practically, every 3 minutes, just say I'm running at rudimentary number for the example. I'm running at 10 kilometers per hour for 3 minutes, and then you take me to 12 for 3 minutes, then you take me to 14 for 3 minutes, and you take me to 16. You take me to 18, and there's a time there where I'm nearly going to fall over. I've got the harness, so I just grab the side and I put my feet on the side.
Correct.
Boom, that's it.
Yep, and that is a true test when we've got that harness and the athlete just cannot go anymore.
Yeah. Nice. And then you alluded towards rowing as well, so I could do this on the row as well.
Yep. So I've done, I've got this off the US Olympic team actually, but they do a 2,000 meter row, and that's basically just for time. And the whole time you are strapped to our VO2 max machine, and we're just seeing how much oxygen your body's able to uptake within the 2,000 meters.
Did we do it with the East Rose West guys, do you know?
So I think those guys did it on the treadmill actually.
They did it on the treadmill?
They did it on the treadmill, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can do whatever mode you want. Yeah. I'd like to go for specificity because
makes sense.
Athlete is going to be used to rowing, used to running, cycling, so just try and mimic what the athlete is doing outside best as we can in the sports lab.